2C-B is a psychedelic that was created in the 1970s. It has a blend of psychedelic, entactogenic, and aphrodisiac qualities. Its strong bodily effects make it distinct from many other psychedelics. Often, it's viewed as a cross between typical psychedelics and entactogens. Among the positive effects of 2C-B are mood lift, euphoria, empathy, insight, brightened colors, closed and open eye visuals, stimulation, and an increase in sexuality. The neutral effects can include pupil dilation and decreased appetite. The negative effects include nausea, vomiting, muscle tension, confusion, insomnia, paranoia, fear, sweating, and chills. A common description of 2C-B is that it's like a mix of MDMA and LSD. This isn't completely accurate, but it is the case that 2C-B has qualities of both drugs. The substance offers two effects that really make it stand out. The first is a major increase in sexual feelings, and the second is a form of body tripping. Its ability to increase sexual feelings, particularly at low doses, is so strong it's been sold as an aphrodisiac. Under the influence of 2C-B, your mind and body can seemingly fill up with sexual feelings. From there, the drug also enhances physical sensation and pleasure. However, this effect doesn't occur for everyone, and it may get covered up as the dose increases. The body component of 2C-B ranges from long-lasting orgasmic sensations to very uncomfortable sensations of nausea and tension. The commonly reported feeling of energy pulsing through your body can be pleasurable, but it can also be annoying and uncomfortable. Many 2C-B users report the feeling manifests as part of an overall negative body load filled with nausea, gas, vomiting, muscle tension, and a general uneasy feeling. The body tripping often lasts through the experience, but is strongest early on. At low doses, it may come with minimal typical psychedelic effects, and instead offer a body high, mental stimulation, and a sexual boost. With low to moderate doses, more psychedelic effects creep in, and 2C-B becomes somewhat comparable to MDMA, though with a clear psychedelic quality. At higher doses, complete psychedelic effects kick in, and 2C-B can be as strong as typical psychedelics. Though, even at the higher doses, 2C-B has a tendency to be gentler. When visuals are present, they're described as very colorful and similar to typical psychedelics. When used orally, 2C-B lasts for 4 to 8 hours, has an onset of 45 to 90 minutes, and is strongest 1.5 to 5 hours after administration. Intranasal use comes with a similar duration at 4 to 6 or 8 hours, but its onset drops to 5 to 10 minutes. Intranasal can be nice because it works faster, but it's often unpleasant because it causes a painful burning sensation. A crash may exist when it wears off, but not everyone experiences one. When the crash exists, it's usually less significant than MDMA's. 2C-B is a substituted phenethylamine and a member of the 2C family, which includes 2CE, 2CI, and others. It operates at serotonin receptors, but it either blocks or minimally activates the 5-HT2A receptor, which is the most common target for psychedelics. It appears to provide at least a fair portion of its psychedelic effects through 5-HT2C instead. 2C-B also increases dopamine, and it may possess MAOI activity since it reduces the metabolism of dopamine. So far, we don't fully understand what combination of actions provides the full effect profile of 2C-B. The drug was first synthesized in 1974 by Alexander Shulgin, and its psychoactivity was reported in 1975. Shulgin would later describe 2C-B in his book P-Call, which was published in 1991. Soon after it was created, 2C-B was being used in therapeutic and recreational settings. Those in the psychiatric community found it could enhance psychotherapy in a way that's reminiscent of MDMA. It's reported the drug can help patients open up, and it enhances the bond between patient and therapist. Its use grew in the late 1980s, partially because MDMA was now illegal in the US and 2C-B was viewed as an alternative. Around the same time, it had two popular names and was sold openly as a legal product in some markets. Those names were Nexus and Erox. Nexus was the most popular name for 2C-B. For a while, it was sold in legitimate stores, such as smart shops in the Netherlands. Under the names Nexus and Erox, the drug was sold by a small German company called Dritwell, which sent 2C-B around the world. Dritwell primarily sold 2C-B as an aphrodisiac, but the company also helped 2C-B find one of its most interesting applications in South Africa. In the 1990s, 2C-B use grew in South African spiritual communities. Shamans began using it as an alternative to their traditional plants. The drug was found to have some useful qualities, including its accessibility and effects. Dritwell worked with a local herbal drug company called Nkwazi to get 2C-B into the hands of shamans and others. Its packaging in South Africa reflected the growing use of the drug as a spiritual tool. In the country, it was being sold to open the mind to messages, visions, and dreams from the ancestral spirits, which is much different than having it be sold to increase sexual desire. The shamans called it the medicine of the singing ancestors, in reference to its alleged ability to connect people with their ancestors. Nkwazi eventually stopped selling 2C-B because it became illegal, and Dritwell's supply of 2C-B in South Africa dried up by the late 1990s. Once it was illegal, the drug was harder to come by, and its use among shamans declined. 2C-B's use in South Africa was also interesting since some of the experiences attributed to the drug shared qualities with iboga further north in Africa. Some users reported being transported to the jungle to communicate with ancestors while on the drug. It appears the qualities the shamans attached to 2C-B really allowed it to replace their traditional substances. Outside of its spiritual use, people used 2C-B as a club drug in the South African rave and dance scene, just as they did elsewhere. 2C-B is sometimes encountered due to it being sold as MDMA, but this is rare. If someone uses 2C-B, it's almost always because they've intended to do so. A threshold oral dose is 2 to 5 milligrams, a common dose is 15 to 25 milligrams, and a strong dose is 25 to 50 milligrams or more. With intranasal use, a light dose is 5 to 10 milligrams, a common dose is 10 to 20 milligrams, and a strong dose is 20 to 30 milligrams or more. 2C-B is widely illegal, and it's been a Schedule I substance in the US since the early 1990s. It's also illegal in other countries, including the UK, Australia, Canada, Russia, and the Netherlands. The lethal dose for 2C-B isn't known, but it seems to be at least a few times higher than the regular dose, if not more. It is usually considered one of the safer psychedelics, but unlike with LSD or psilocybin, I'm not as confident with saying really high doses are going to be physically safe. Within reason, 2C-B is relatively safe physically, but don't overdo it. Some people definitely have a tendency to push it too far because of its reportedly mild nature. Because of its stimulating effects, tachycardia, hypertension, and hyperthermia are possible concerns, and those effects will grow along with the dose. Those with a compromised heart should be very cautious, and even for healthy people, a lower dose is always a safer bet. Also, frightening experiences aren't unheard of, and a fear response can stress your heart further. If you have any questions about 2C-B, feel free to leave them in the comment section. You can also leave them in the Reddit thread for this video, which will be linked in the description. Support on Patreon is greatly appreciated, so if you'd like to contribute, you can head to patreon.com/thedrugclassroom. You can also contribute on PayPal through the link in the description, or through Bitcoin using the provided address or QR code. You can connect with me on Twitter at Seth A. Fitzgerald and via email at thedrugclassroom@gmail.com. If you have any topic recommendations, you can post them in the comments section or send them to me elsewhere.